behind them exploded in a blast of concrete and smoke. Metal claws pierced through, ripping apart the structure. A hulking, armored mech, one of the Order's war machines, emerged, its crimson sensors locking onto them. "Target acquired," its mechanical voice droned. "Seize and contain!" "Scatter!" Celine screamed, but the mech's autocannons fired, a hail of bullets shredding the lobby. Glass shattered, marble cracked. Now let's go back to the origin where it all began. In the shadowed depths of a high-tech secret research facility buried beneath a mountain, a group of elite scientists worked in tense silence. This was no ordinary laboratory. Every wall pulsed with a soft, eerie blue light, and the air was filled with the hum of advanced machinery. At the heart of this clandestine world stood Dr. Alicia Varon, a woman of sharp intellect and unwavering resolve. Her piercing green eyes scanned the flickering data on the console, her fingers dancing across the holographic interface. "Solution X is complete," whispered Dr. Evelyn Carter, her voice a mix of awe and fear. Beside her, Dr. Matteo Lin's smile was a shadowed thing, a mask of triumph hiding secrets. 3 vials, 3 crystal-clear vials, each holding a shimmering silver-blue liquid that seemed to pulse with life. Solution X, a serum that could elevate human intelligence, enhance physical strength, and unlock untold potential. But there was a darkness in its glow, a silent promise of death if misused. Their test subject, a former soldier scarred by war, stood in a reinforced chamber, veins pulsing as the serum coursed through his body. At first, his senses sharpened, his muscles flexed with impossible strength, and his mind raced with 1,000 thoughts. But within minutes, his face twisted in agony, his eyes turning black as his mind shattered. He screamed, a sound of pure despair, before collapsing, lifeless. "It's too dangerous," whispered Alicia, stepping back, but Matteo's voice was cold. "It is power, Alicia, power to reshape the future." But power was a weapon in the wrong hands. Unknown to the scientists, their research was funded by the Order of Ascendants, a shadowy organization that sought to create an army of super soldiers to conquer Mars and secure dominance. Alicia's pulse quickened. She saw through the shadows. The Order didn't just want the serum, they wanted control. And once they had it, the scientists would become liabilities. "We can't stay here," she whispered to Evelyn. "They will kill us the moment they perfect the serum." That night, the 3 scientists met in secret, plans whispered in hushed tones, fear wrapped around them like a suffocating shroud. They would take the serum, 1 vial each, and flee. But as they turned to leave, Matteo's smile twisted. "I have my own plans," he whispered, his voice a venomous hiss. Evelyn's eyes widened. "Matteo, what have you done?" "I have ensured my survival," Matteo replied, pulling out a hidden transmitter. "The Order already knows." Alicia and Evelyn ran, alarms blaring, shadows chasing them through the labyrinth of steel corridors. But Matteo did not follow. Instead, he turned and walked toward the approaching guards with a calculated smile. As Alicia and Evelyn vanished into the night, clutching their vials of Solution X, betrayal seared into their souls. They had become fugitives, and the darkness had only just begun. They ran to the edges of the world, hiding in the shadows, changing identities, always watching for the Order's hunters. But even in fear, they chose to preserve a piece of themselves. In hidden labs, Alicia and Evelyn fertilized their own egg using advanced genetic technology. They carefully cultured the embryos, ensuring that their children would inherit the enhanced intelligence and strength of Solution X, living legacies of their genius and their curse. But to protect these children, they took a step further. Artificial incubation, no natural birth, no belly buttons, a mark of their secret origins, a mark of their survival. Alicia named her daughter Selene, a child of the moon, destined to shine even in the darkness. But the shadows never truly left. The Order searched, hunters came, and the storm was only beginning. Selene Varon had always known she was different. As a child, she solved complex puzzles meant for adults, read entire encyclopedias in a day, and displayed a strength that belied her slender frame. But her mother, Alicia, always warned her, "Hide what you are, Celine. Intelligence is a weapon, strength is a curse." But when Selena turned 18, everything changed. The Order of Ascendants found them via an accidental social media post by one of her friends. A storm of black-clad operatives shattered their quiet life. Alicia was captured, but before she was taken, she whispered to Celine, "Survive, find the others, trust no one." Selene was alone, hunted, but not helpless. Following her mother's last words, she unearthed hidden files, evidence of two others like her: Kai, the son of Dr. Evelyn Carter, and Leon, the daughter of Dr. Mateo Lin, the traitor. Her journey began, a race against time, hunted by the Order's relentless agents, while piecing together her true heritage and the deadly secrets of Solution X. Celine moved like a shadow through the neon-lit alleyways of Neo-Tokyo, her senses sharp, every step calculated. Rain slicked the holographic billboards above, casting fractured light in blues and pinks against the wet streets. Her mother's whispered words echoed in her mind: "Survive, find the others, trust no one." Behind her, the hum of engines grew louder, hovering drones scanning the narrow alleys. The Order's agents were relentless, faceless men and women in black tactical gear, their helmets reflecting the neon glow, red visors scanning for heat signatures. They seemed to appear wherever she went, a swarm of shadows in pursuit, but they underestimated her. Celine's heartbeat steadied, her mind sharpening to a knife's edge. Enhanced reflexes, hyperintelligence, and an instinct for survival. These were her gifts, her curse. She darted to the right, slipping into the shadows between two crumbling skyscrapers. The agents followed, but she had already calculated their movements. As the first two operatives rounded the corner, she struck. Her hand snapped out, seizing the wrist of the nearest agent. With a twist, she redirected his momentum, sending him crashing headfirst into the alley wall. The second agent swung a shock baton, but Selene ducked beneath the crackling arc of energy, her leg sweeping in a blur, striking his knee. He collapsed with a scream. Before the others could react, Selene seized the fallen agent's baton, twisting it to full charge. She hurled it at a nearby drone, the electric burst overloading its circuits, sending it spiraling into another agent. Sparks exploded, and the air filled with the stench of burning plastic, but she wasn't done. Selene's hyper-intelligent mind was a battlefield. In the chaos, she calculated escape routes, counted the remaining agents, 6, and predicted their next moves. One raised an energy rifle, but she was already in motion. Her hand found a metal pipe, and with precise force, she hurled it into the rifle's barrel. The weapon backfired, the agent thrown backward in a shower of sparks. A fourth agent lunged at her with a combat knife. Selene sidestepped, her arm locking around his, twisting the blade from his grip and slashing across his thigh. His scream was swallowed by the rain. The remaining two backed away, unsure, recalculating. One raised a comm link. Selene was on him before he finished, her fist connecting with his jaw, the device shattering beneath her heel. The final agent drew a taser, but Selene's hand shot out, grabbing his wrist. Her grip tightened, superhuman strength pulsing through her veins. His eyes widened, the taser falling from his grasp. "Tell them you lost me," Selene whispered, her voice calm, her eyes cold, "or you won't be able to tell anyone anything." The agent's fear was a living thing, his hand shaking. He nodded, stumbling back, clutching his fractured wrist. Selene stepped back, watching them retreat, their black-clad forms swallowed by the neon mist. But she wasn't safe, not yet. Her mind raced, processing the tactical patterns they had used, their movements, their timing. The Order had a tracking grid in place. They were anticipating her path. They weren't just following, they were herding. But she was already ahead. Ripping the power core from the disabled drone, she hacked into its system, 1,000 lines of code blazing through her mind. She rerouted her digital signature, creating a false heat trail leading to the opposite side of the city. Within seconds, the remaining drones shifted, speeding off toward the decoy. A faint smile crossed Selene's lips, but it faded just as quickly. "Survive! Find the others! Trust no one!" She couldn't stay here, and she couldn't trust anyone, not even those she was meant to find. But for now, she had time, and in a world of shadows, time was everything. The encounter with Kai Selene moved swiftly through the rain-soaked streets of Neo-Tokyo, the city's neon glow casting fractured shadows around her. The Order's agents were gone for now, but she knew better than to slow down. They were just one step behind, always watching, always hunting. But she was hunting too. Her destination loomed ahead, a dilapidated underground fight club nestled beneath the bustling Ginza district. Music pounded like thunder, neon lights flickered erratically, and the air reeked of sweat and desperation. Kai Carter, her supposed ally, was here. Or rather, he was making a spectacle of himself. The roar of the crowd echoed down the narrow hallway as Selene slipped in, her hood low, her senses scanning every face, every shadow. In the center of the arena, beneath a dome of flickering hollow screens, a towering figure crashed to the ground, his face a mess of blood and defeat. And above him, laughing and victorious, stood Kai. Selene's sharp eyes took in his every detail. Tall, muscular, his dark hair wild and slick with sweat, a jagged scar tracing his cheek, a trophy from his countless fights. But beneath the bravado, she saw the truth. His movements were too precise, his strikes too calculated. This was no mere brawler. This was a hunter who enjoyed his prey's suffering. And the winner, Knockout Kai! The announcer's voice roared, but Kai was already moving, leaping over the ropes and disappearing into the chaos of the backstage corridors. Selene didn't hesitate. She followed. The neon lights gave way to narrow metal corridors damp with steam. The sound of muffled conversations and distant cheers faded as she moved deeper. Her footsteps were silent, her breath steady. Kai's trail was easy to follow, a path of discarded towels and the occasional bloodstain. Then she saw him, leaning against a wall, gulping down a water bottle, his back turned. "You should be more careful," she called out, her voice calm but edged with steel. Kai spun, eyes narrowing. For a split second, he was just another predator, muscles tensing, fists ready. But then he saw her, small, slender, with an intensity in her emerald eyes that pierced through the gloom. "Who the hell are you?" he spat, wiping his mouth. "Selene Varan. I know what you are, who you are." Her voice was steady, calculated. Kai laughed, a harsh, mocking sound. "Oh, you know me? What, did the order send you? Come to drag me back?" "I'm not with them," she replied, stepping forward, her stance calm but ready. "But they're coming, and if you keep playing games here, you're dead." His grin didn't falter. "Oh, I see. You're one of the lab rats too, huh? Another super brain freak looking to play hero." "I'm looking to survive," Selene corrected, her voice colder now. "And if you have any sense left, you'll come with me. Or you can keep being the strongest idiot in a cage." Kai's smile faltered, replaced by a flicker of suspicion. "And why should I trust you?" "You shouldn't," Selene replied. "Trust is a luxury we don't have." But before Kai could respond, the hallway lights flickered. An emergency pulse, a low rumble shook the walls, and distant shouts filled the air. "They found us," Selene whispered, her voice tense. "No, they found you," Kai snapped, already backing away. "I'm out," but the ceiling exploded above him. A rain of metal shards and smoke. Black-clad agents descended on cables, assault rifles in their hands, red visors flashing. Selene's mind blazed to life. Calculations, probabilities, escape routes, all in a heartbeat. She lunged, her hand grabbing Kai's shoulder, yanking him back just as a burst of gunfire shredded the air where he had stood. "Hey!" he roared, but she was already moving, her foot kicking a metal crate into one agent's path. He tripped, his rifle firing wildly, striking another operative. Another agent lunged, a stun baton crackling, but Selene twisted beneath his swing, her fingers jabbing a pressure point on his wrist. The baton fell, and she seized it, spinning it with deadly precision, its electric arc slashing across two more agents. Kai's shock faded, replaced by a savage grin. "You know what? I like you!" He surged forward, fists crashing into an agent's helmet with bone-shattering force. Another tried to flank him, but he grabbed the man by his armor, lifting and slamming him into the wall like a rag doll. But the swarm didn't stop. More agents dropped, their tactical formation tightening. "Target Alpha and Beta confirmed," one shouted. "Lethal force authorized." Selene's mind raced. They were being boxed in, a classic containment strategy, but she saw the flaw. "Up!" she shouted, grabbing Kai's arm. "What?" "The catwalk." Selene's enhanced vision tracked the thin metal walkway overhead. "Jump!" Together they leapt, her strength propelling her like a spring, her fingers latching onto the edge. Kai followed, grunting, his raw strength letting him pull himself up. Below, the agents surged in, their rifles aiming up, but Selene's fingers danced across her wrist pad, a hidden device she had stolen from the Order's labs. A flick of a command, and the overhead lights exploded in a blinding cascade. The agents screamed, their visors shattering under the overload. Some fired wildly, striking each other. In the chaos, Selene and Kai sprinted along the catwalk, ducking through a ventilation shaft, just as the emergency shutters sealed the corridor below. In the darkness, Kai's breathing was heavy, but his grin was wider than ever. "Okay, I'm convinced. Let's say I'm in." But we better have a damn good plan. Celine's eyes were cold, her mind already racing with strategies. We do, but first we find the third one, Leon. Celine and Kai moved through the rain-slicked alleyways of Neo-Tokyo, their every step shadowed by the neon glow of the city's towering skyscrapers. The air was thick with mist, and the hum of distant sirens seemed to pulse in the darkness. But Celine's mind was a machine, analyzing, calculating, anticipating. Lian Lin, Kai muttered, wiping rain from his brow. Daughter of the traitor. You sure this is a good idea? No, Celine replied, her voice sharp. But we need her. And if she's anything like her father, she'll already know we're coming. She better be worth the risk, Kai grumbled, cracking his knuckles. Because I'm not in the mood for another ambush. But Celine wasn't listening. Her eyes were fixed on the building ahead. A decaying skyscraper, its upper floors shattered by years of neglect. It was a forgotten relic of the old city, perfect for someone who didn't want to be found. And yet, as they approached the entrance, she felt it, a chill at the back of her neck, a sense of being watched. Kai, wait. Too late. The ground exploded beneath them, a blast of smoke and shrapnel. Celine's reflexes saved her, her body twisting away, but Kai was thrown back, crashing into a wall. From the mist, figures emerged, masked, armored, their weapons gleaming in the flickering neon light. Stay down, Viren, a voice called out, cool and calm, or your friend gets his head blown off. Celine's eyes darted, calculating. 6 hostiles, no, 7, spread in a wide arc. Snipers above, 2 with assault rifles, 1 with a plasma cutter aimed at Kai's throat. But then, from the darkness above, a figure descended. A slender woman in a silver cloak, her face obscured by a holographic mask. Leon, Celine whispered, her voice tense. Celine Veran. Leon's voice was a smooth, almost melodic whisper, but with an edge of steel. You've been very busy, escaping the order, breaking into fight clubs, picking up stray dogs. Nice to see you too, Kai groaned, wiping blood from his lip. Real friendly. Celine's mind raced. This is how you greet allies? With an ambush? Ally is a strong word, Leon replied, waving a hand. The agents around her stepped forward, weapons raised. I don't do trust, but I do value information. And right now, you have something I want. Information? Celine's eyes narrowed. Or do you mean Solution X? Leon's laughter was soft, almost amused. Oh, please, that relic of our parents' madness? No, I want something more valuable. Survival. And for that, I need to know how you've been avoiding the order. Celine's jaw tightened. You're their agent, aren't you? Just like your father. Leon's calm demeanor cracked, her fingers twitching slightly. My father is a liar, a traitor, but I am not like him. Kai grunted. Could have fooled me. Leon's masked gaze flicked to him. Bravery or stupidity, not much difference in your case. Celine saw the opening. Leon's arrogance, her need to assert control, it was a weakness. You want to survive, Leon? Celine said, her voice firm. Then you need us. The Order is hunting you too. And if you haven't noticed, they're always one step ahead. Leon's silence stretched. Then, with a flick of her wrist, she dismissed the armed guards. They melted into the shadows, but Celine knew they were still watching. Talk, Leon said, her voice a whisper. Make it worth my time. Celine's mind was a whirlwind, a plan forming in seconds. The Order uses a network of surveillance drones, coded to track our unique biosignatures, but I've found a way to scramble them, create false heat trails. Leon's head tilted, intrigued. And how do I know you're not leading me into a trap? You don't, Celine replied, stepping forward, her gaze fierce. But you know I'm the only one who can outsmart them. And if you think your father's betrayal is the worst of it, you're wrong. The Order has a new project. They call it Genesis Protocol. And it's not just about hunting us. It's about creating an entire army of enhanced soldiers. Leon's fists clenched, her calm shattered. You're lying, Am I? Selena's voice was a knife. Then why have they doubled their forces in this sector? Why did they try to capture you instead of kill you? Leon's holographic mask shimmered, revealing her face. Sharp, angular features, cold, calculating eyes. But beneath the mask, Selene saw it. Fear. Fine, Leon whispered, her voice barely steady. We'll work together, but if you betray me... I won't have to, Selene cut in. The Order will do that for you. They moved together, an uneasy alliance cutting through the shadows of Neo-Tokyo. Leon's knowledge of the city's underground networks was unmatched. Hidden passages, forgotten tunnels, abandoned subways, the perfect routes for ghosts. But even as they navigated the darkness, Selene's mind never rested. Leon was dangerous, not just for her skills, but for her ambition. A survivor who would betray them the moment it served her. And yet, they needed her. I still don't trust her, Kai whispered as they ducked beneath a broken maglev rail. She's too calm, too comfortable in the chaos. Keep your eyes on her, Selene murmured, but keep them open. She might be our only chance. But Leon was listening. She always was. I can hear you, you know, she said, her voice a soft echo. And you're right. I am dangerous. But so are you. That's why we work together. Because there's no one else. A cold silence fell between them. Then, a crackle of static, a voice cutting through the darkness. All units, converge on Sector 7. Targets confirmed. Selene Varan, Kai Carter, Leon Lin. Lethal force authorized. Leon's face paled. How did they... Selene's eyes widened. They've hacked the city grid. Every camera, every sensor. They know exactly where we are, Kai finished, his fists clenching. And then, the neon shadows exploded with light. Spotlights burning through the mist, drones swarming, and armored agents rappelling down the skyscrapers. We run! Selene shouted, grabbing Leon and Kai's arms. Move! But even as they fled, her mind was racing. Someone had betrayed them. And she had a sinking feeling she knew who. The city of Neo-Tokyo twisted around them, a maze of neon-lit corridors, shadowed rooftops, and rain-soaked alleyways. But this time, the shadows offered no refuge. Drones hummed overhead, their crimson scanners slicing through the mist. The Order's agents were everywhere, swarming like an iron swarm of wasps, their commands crackling over the comms. Seal all exits. Target them from the east and west. Block the southern alley. Lethal force authorized. Selene's breath was steady, but her mind raced faster than ever, calculating every movement, every angle. Beside her, Kai's fists were clenched, his jaw tight with a mix of rage and fear. Leon darted ahead, her silver cloak swirling like a ghost in the rain. Left! Selene shouted, shoving Kai towards a broken fence. He burst through, metal tearing beneath his strength. Leon was already scrambling up a rusted fire escape, her agility unmatched. But the drones swooped low, their searchlights blinding, their targeting lasers flickering across the rain. Selene's wristpad vibrated, a warning. Her hacked signals were being countered, overwritten. They've overridden my decoys, she hissed. They know our heat signatures. No hiding then, Kai snarled, grabbing a metal pole and hurling it like a javelin. The pole struck one drone's propellers, sending it spiraling into the wall in a burst of sparks. Keep moving! Leon's voice cut through the chaos. There's an access tunnel ahead. But as they rounded the corner, they saw it. Rows of agents in tactical gear, rifles raised, blocking the tunnel's entrance. Ambush! Selene yelled, her hand lashing out, seizing Leon's shoulder. You knew! I didn't, Leon protested, her eyes wide with shock. This wasn't me. But Selene's instincts screamed at her. Betrayal, deception, trust no one. Before she could react, the agents opened fire, a hail of energy bolts and explosive rounds. Selene's enhanced senses shifted her perception. Time slowed, the world becoming a chessboard of danger. She pushed Leon aside, her body twisting as a bolt singed past her cheek. Up! she shouted, her feet kicking off a wall, springing onto a low rooftop. Kai followed, leaping with his superhuman strength, a roar of fury tearing from his throat. Leon hesitated below, pinned behind a shattered barricade. "Wait! Don't leave me!" But Celine's jaw tightened. Was this a ploy? A trap within a trap? "Selene, we can't," Kai began, but Celine's decision was made in an instant. She reached down, her fingers locking onto Leon's wrist, pulling her up just as the barricade exploded beneath a rocket blast. Together, they sprinted across the rooftops, gunfire chasing their heels. Below, agents poured through the alleys, their tactical lights flashing like hungry eyes. "Who sold us out?" Kai shouted, his voice hoarse. "How did they know?" "Not now!" Celine snapped, but her mind was racing. Someone had betrayed them, given their location, countered her false signals. But who? Then she saw it. Another drone hovering above, but this one was different. Sleek, matte black, no flashing lights. A silent observer, and within it, a holographic image blinked to life. A face. Dr. Matteo Lin. "Hello, Celine." His voice was smooth, cold, laced with triumph. "Did you really think you could outsmart me?" Leon's face turned pale. "Father, oh my dear Leon," Matteo's image smirked. "You were always a useful pawn, so desperate for survival, so willing to follow, even into a trap." "You used me?" Leon whispered, rage and pain warring in her eyes. "You—" "Stay focused," Celine shouted, grabbing Leon and forcing her forward. "Talk later. Survive now." But Matteo's voice continued, mocking them as they ran. "You're all so predictable. Celine, always so calculating, always so certain. Kai, the brute who thinks with his fists. And Leon, well, my disappointing daughter, always running, always hiding." "Shut up," Kai roared, ripping a ventilation pipe from the roof and hurling it at the drone. But it darted aside, hovering above them. Celine's mind raced. The drone wasn't just watching, it was tracking, guiding the agents. If they didn't destroy it— "Leon, override it," Selena ordered, her voice fierce. "It's your father's tech." I can't," Leon stammered, her confidence shattered. "He locked me out of the system." But Celine's eyes were cold. "Then we do this my way. Kai, give me a boost." Kai's confusion lasted a second, but he obeyed. His powerful arms locked around her waist, and with a grunt, he hurled her skyward. Selena's body soared, her hands latching onto a broken antenna. In a heartbeat, she was above the drone, her enhanced reflexes already at work. She drew a small, compact EMP grenade from her belt, a trophy stolen from the Order's armory. "For a genius, you're awfully arrogant," she whispered, her fingers releasing the grenade. The EMP pulse exploded in a burst of blue light, the drone's image flickering, Matteo's face twisting in shock. "No!" His voice crackled. "You—" The drone shattered, fragments raining like glass, and the agents below faltered, their comms hissing with static. Selene landed beside Kai and Leon, her face fierce. "Run! Now!" They plunged back into the maze of the city, shadows swallowing them, but Selene's mind was ablaze. Matteo was watching, always watching. And Leon was either a pawn or a traitor. But she wasn't the only one. Someone else had betrayed them. Someone who knew every one of Celine's tactics. "We can't trust anyone," Celine whispered as they moved, her voice ice. "Not even each other." They burst into an abandoned skyscraper, rainwater pooling beneath their feet as the shattered windows howled with the wind. Neon lights from the city outside cast eerie shadows across the ruined lobby. The silence was suffocating. Kai leaned against a crumbling pillar, catching his breath. Blood dripped from a cut on his cheek, but his eyes blazed with anger. Leon stood across from him, trembling, her silver cloak soaked and torn. Celine paced between them, her mind racing, her fists clenched. "Let's get this straight," Kai growled, his voice sharp as a blade. "We walk right into an ambush. The Order knows our every move. And now, surprise, surprise, Daddy Dearest is watching us like some twisted puppet show." "I didn't know," Leon snapped, her voice breaking. "You think I wanted this? He betrayed me too." "Spare me the sob story," Kai shouted, his fists slamming into the pillar, dust raining down. You're his daughter. You probably led them right to us. Enough! Celine's voice sliced through the tension, her glare freezing them both. We don't have time for this. They're tracking us even now. But even as she spoke, her mind was a whirlwind. Mateo had used Leon, weaponized her, then discarded her. But was that the whole story? Or was Leon playing a deeper game? Leon's eyes met Celine's, defiant but wounded. You're looking at me like I'm the enemy, like I'm him. Are you? Celine's voice was ice. Because every time we're cornered, you're the only one who seems to know the way out. A flash of pain crossed Leon's face. You don't understand. Then make me understand, Celine shouted, her control slipping for the first time. Silence. Rain pattered against the broken windows. Then Leon whispered, I have a failsafe. A way to disappear, to scramble their sensors, to escape Neo-Tokyo. But I didn't use it because you're in contact with him, Celine whispered, the realization crashing into her. You've been feeding him our location, haven't you? No! Leon screamed, tears in her eyes. I was trying to reach him, to stop him, to make him leave me alone. Kai laughed, a hollow, bitter sound. Perfect. We're running with a spy. Shut up, Leon hissed, her voice laced with fury. If I were a spy, you'd be dead. He doesn't want you alive, Kai. He wants me. He wants her. Celine's pulse raced. Me? Why? Leon's eyes widened. You really don't know, do you? Mateo's not just hunting you. He needs you, Celine, because you're the key, the solution to the Genesis protocol. Celine's blood turned cold. What are you talking about? Your mother, Dr. Alicia Varon, perfected the serum. She wasn't just a scientist. She was a genetic engineer. She didn't just create you. She locked the true formula of Solution X within your DNA. Your genetic code is the final key. Without it, Mateo can't create his army. The room spun. Celine's legs trembled. My DNA? Leon's voice grew desperate. Why do you think he's been tracking you, hunting you, but never killing you? He needs you alive. But once he has you, he'll extract the formula and kill her. Kai finished, his face pale. Damn it! Celine's mind was a storm. Her mother's warning echoed in her ears. Survive. Find the others. Trust no one. But even now, she could barely trust herself. Then a sudden roar echoed through the building. The wall behind them exploded in a blast of concrete and smoke. Metal claws pierced through, ripping apart the structure. A hulking, armored mech, one of the Order's war machines, emerged, its crimson sensors locking onto them. Target acquired, its mechanical voice droned. Seize and contain! Scatter! Celine screamed, but the mech's autocannons fired, a hail of bullets shredding the lobby. Glass shattered, marble cracked, dust choking the air. Kai roared, vaulting over the debris, his enhanced strength letting him tear a steel beam from the wall. He hurled it like a spear, the beam slamming into the mech's sensors, shattering one of its red eyes. But it wasn't enough. The mech's claws shot out, seizing Kai's arm, lifting him like a rag doll. No! Celine screamed, her mind racing, every nerve alight. But as she calculated an escape, a voice crackled through the mech's speakers, a voice she never expected. Celine, are you there? It was Dr. Alicia Varon, her mother's voice. Mom? Celine's voice broke, shock paralyzing her. I don't have time. Mateo has me. But listen, you are the key, but you are also the weapon. Use it. The serum, your blood. The signal crackled, then cut off. The mech's claws tightened around Kai. His screams echoed through the shattered hall. Leon! Celine shouted. Help me! But Leon was already running, her silver cloak trailing like a ghost. Traitor! Kai screamed, struggling against the crushing metal. Celine's heart twisted, but her mind was clear. Her mother's words burned in her thoughts. You are the weapon. Use it. Her blood. The serum was within her. But how? A memory struck her, her mother injecting her as a child, saying it was a vaccine. But it wasn't. It was a stabilizer, a control for her powers. And if she pushed her body to the limit, Celine's muscles tightened, her senses burned, her vision sharpened to a blinding clarity. Her blood pulsed like liquid fire. With a cry of fury, she leapt, her body a blur. She struck the mech's arm, her enhanced strength shattering the claw holding Kai. Kai dropped, gasping, as Celine landed atop the mech. Her fists struck again and again, each blow cracking its armor. Sparks flew, metal twisted, and with a final strike, she ripped its control core free. The mech collapsed, a smoking ruin. Celine staggered, her vision blurring, her strength draining. Blood trickled from her nose. "Celine!" Kai caught her, his arms steady but his eyes wide with fear. "What? What the hell was that?" Celine's voice was a whisper. "My blood is the weapon." But before they could process it, Leon's voice echoed from above. "Get to the rooftops! Now!" She was alive, standing on a fire escape, waving them up. But could they trust her? "Your call, genius," Kai whispered, his gaze fixed on Celine. Celine's jaw tightened. "We follow, but we don't trust." Together they ran, climbing into the stormy sky. But Celine's thoughts were a storm of their own. Her mother was alive, her blood was the key, and Leon was either a traitor, a pawn, or the only one who knew the truth. The rain was a hammer against the rusted rooftops, a relentless cascade of cold silver washing the darkness. Celine, Kai, and Leon moved like phantoms, their soaked forms darting across the decaying skyline. Lightning slashed across the heavens, thunder bellowing like a war drum, but the real storm was within. "Faster!" Leon called, her voice lost in the howling wind. "The extraction point is ahead." "Extraction?" Kai spat, muscles straining as he vaulted over a broken railing. "Says the girl who led us into a death trap." "I didn't know!" Leon snapped, her voice desperate. "I didn't know he would—" "Lies!" Kai roared, his hand seizing her cloak, yanking her to face him. "Maybe you didn't set the trap, but you didn't warn us either. So tell me, little princess, why should we trust you now?" Leon's face was pale, her eyes wide, but she didn't flinch. "Because I want to live. Because I want to destroy him." Celine's gaze cut between them, her mind calculating even as her heart pounded. Leon's fear was real, but fear could be a mask. Her mother's voice still echoed in her mind. Trust no one. "Save it!" Celine snapped, shoving them both forward. "If this is another setup, I swear!" But her voice died as they skidded to a halt. The rooftop ended in a sheer drop, a gaping chasm of darkness below, the wind howling like a beast. And across the chasm, standing on the opposite rooftop, was Dr. Matteo Lin, tall, shadowed, his cold smile flickering beneath the strobe of lightning. "Hello, children." His voice was a silk-wrapped blade. So predictable, always running, always fighting. Leon's face twisted in rage. "Father, you don't have to do this." "But I do, my dear." Matteo's voice was calm, almost amused. "You've outlived your usefulness, just like your mother." Leon's face shattered with shock. My mother? You said she was gone." "Oh, she is, because she tried to betray me, just like you are now." Leon's knees buckled, her breath a ragged gasp. No, you." "Save the drama," Kai roared, his fist slamming into a nearby pipe, sending a burst of steam toward Matteo's image. But it wasn't just an image. It was a projection, a hologram. "I didn't come here to lecture you, my dear," Matteo's voice crackled. "I came to show you that you have nowhere left to run." Celine's senses screamed. Her eyes darted to the sky. Drones, dozens of them, descending in a deadly swarm. Black-clad agents surged from the nearby rooftops, rappelling down, rifles raised. "Run!" Celine screamed, grabbing Leon and pulling her back, but the agents were everywhere. Gunfire erupted, bullets tearing into the crumbling concrete. Kai bellowed, charging forward, his superhuman strength shattering an agent's skull, another thrown over the edge. But the swarm was endless. Celine's mind raced. Every escape route was cut off, every angle a trap. But then she saw it, a rusted cable, swaying between the rooftops, a final desperate chance. "This way!" she yelled, leaping onto the cable, her enhanced agility letting her balance even as it swung wildly. "Leon, come on!" Leon's face was pale, but she followed, clutching the cable, her every step a death wish. "Kai!" Celine called. "Hurry!" But Kai was surrounded, his fists flying, his roars of fury drowned by the gunfire. Blood stained his clothes, his breaths ragged. "I'll cover you! Go! No!" Celine's heart twisted. "You won't survive! I said go!" Kai's roar was a thunderclap. His eyes met hers, fierce, blazing. "You're the key, Celine! Save yourself!" Tears blurred her vision, but she pulled Leon, forcing her across the swaying cable. "Kai!" But even as she reached the other side, she saw it. The agents tackling him, the swarm burying him beneath black armor. His screams vanished beneath the chaos. And then the building exploded. Flames roared into the night, the shockwave hurling Celine and Leon to the ground. Smoke choked the sky, embers raining like dying stars. "Kai!" Celine's voice was a ragged scream, her chest tearing with grief. But Leon's grip tightened on her arm, pulling her up. "We have to go. They won't stop." Selena's blood was ice, her vision tunneled. But her body moved, her legs carrying her forward, dragging Leon through the darkness. But the world was a blur. Kai was gone. Her mother was a prisoner, and now she was alone with the one person she didn't trust. They crashed into a narrow alley, shadows swallowing them. Celine's legs gave out, her knees striking the wet concrete, her breath heaving. He's gone," she whispered, her voice a broken echo. But Leon's eyes were fixed ahead, wide, terrified. No, it can't be." Celine looked up. The alley wasn't empty. Figures emerged from the mist, black-clad agents, silent, their weapons aimed, and at their head, Kai. Celine's heart stopped. He stood before them, bloodied but alive, his face blank, his eyes cold. "Kai!" Celine cried, surging forward. But his hand shot out, seizing her throat, his grip like iron. His eyes were empty, his voice a hollow monotone. "Target Selene Veron. Subject Alpha, genetic extraction priority." Selena's world shattered. "Kai, no!" She choked, her enhanced strength straining against his grip, but he didn't even blink. "Kai, stop!" Leon screamed, but he shoved her aside, his strength unstoppable. Mateo's voice crackled from the agent's comms. "Thank you for delivering her, my dear. Your assistance has been invaluable." Leon's face went white. No, I didn't. Oh, but you did." Mateo's voice dripped with triumph. "From the very beginning, always trying to escape, but always leading her right to me." "No!" Leon's scream was a knife, but the agent seized her, pinning her to the wall. Selene's vision blurred, Kai's iron grip tightening. Her mind blazed, calculations racing, but nothing could break his hold. "You were never a fighter, Celine," Mateo's voice taunted. "You were the key, the puzzle to be solved." And then a needle stabbed into her neck, a syringe, its silver liquid burning into her veins. "Administering capture protocol," an agent's voice droned. Celine's strength vanished. Her body went numb, darkness clawing at the edges of her vision. "Kai," she whispered, her voice a dying breath. "Please." But his empty eyes stared through her. The last thing she saw was Leon's horrified face, her screams swallowed by the night, and then darkness.